Hello and welcome back to my channel. As a person with a very obvious physical disability, I have been asked the same couple of questions over and over and over again throughout my whole life. And a lot of them are a little TMI, if you ask me, but for some reason people never really seem to have an issue asking me these questions. And the hilarious thing is I don't mind when you ask me these questions or when someone not anonymously on the internet asks me these questions, like then it's like cool. But the one that bugs me is like when people walk up to me in real life and they're like, hi, sorry, you don't know me, but I have this really invasive personal question to ask you. Like, who are you? Please leave me alone. So I thought it might be fun to do a little bit of a like a TMI Q&A based on questions that I get asked about my disability. Just to start off, my disability is called osteogenesis imperfecta. I do have a video all about my disability, so I will link that in the cards as well as in the description box for you, so you can watch the video about my disability if you have never seen it. So obviously all of the answers to the questions in the rest of this video are going to be based on my disability and my experiences in a motorized wheelchair. Also, a separate but kind of similar topic is, I get a lot of questions from kids, which is fine, and those questions are usually more like, why aren't you walking? Where are your legs? Even though I clearly have legs. Stuff like that. And so I do have a separate video on how to talk to your kids about my disability. So that's kind of a separate issue. So I will link that video in the cards and in the description box as well, so you can watch that one. I like that video a lot because I think it is much different when you're talking to kids about disability, whereas when you're talking to adults. When adults walk up to me and ask me really invasive, weird questions, you get a little bit defensive and I'm a little bit rude back. I don't really mean to be, it's just what happens. But with kids, I have a little more patience. So of course, the very first question that I get asked all the time, creepily enough, it was the question that I got asked a lot when I was younger, and I haven't been asked as much in recent years. Not that that matters to me, but just, it's creepy that I got asked a lot when I was younger, is, can you have sex? Yes, I physically can. There's actually a woman that we know with my disability who is much smaller than me in size because she's had more breaks throughout her life. And we met her because she was in the hospital having her baby at the same time my mom was having my younger sibling. And so not only can we have sex, but we can have babies. Now, the reality of the situation from my point of view is I mean, obviously I could change my mind someday. The right person, the right situation. I'm not saying this is my forever view, but my view for my whole life until right now at least has been that I probably won't have kids from my own stomach. I just remember her pregnancy and it was like she spent months and months of it in the hospital, hooked up to all these things. I'm sure her baby broke a bunch of bones in her stomach because she didn't pass her disability onto her baby. I think it's like a 50-50 chance with OI that you pass your disability onto your kid, but she didn't. So you mean the baby is really stronger than her at that point, right? So I mean, there's just so many complications and so many worries. And to me, it's not important enough to me that my kid shares my DNA. I mean, there's so many other options. I've really always loved the idea of adopting or fostering or that sort of thing. So, like I said, I could change my mind someday, but I am physically capable of being pregnant. I just don't know that I personally would ever choose to, you know what I mean? What can and can't I do around the house is another big one. So in a perfect world, I live in a house that is fully accessible and I can do everything, but that's not the reality. This is a house that has a lot of able-bodied people in it, and it was a house built for able-bodied people, as many houses are. So most things in this house are not accessible. Cupboards are all too tall for me, the stove is too high for me. This is all why I'm a terrible cook, right? I got no experience. And so a lot of the stuff that I do around here is me asking for help. If I want food, I have to ask someone to get it down for me, which is not really a huge hassle because I don't eat a whole lot and I don't really have to ask for things often. But yeah, for the most part, we keep what I use the most often on my level. Like my mug that I use for tea every day is kept on the counter where I can reach it, and the kettle's on the counter too. You know what I mean? So we do the best that we can. The microwave is even on an appy height, but yeah, the biggest issue for me physically is actually, the transferring. I can do most things in life myself, but I obviously can't get in and out of my chair myself, and I don't have a house equipped and situated for me to do that. So that's one of the things that if I ever moved, I would need a PSW for, but I live here now. And so my mom or my stepdad or one of my various siblings will just plunk me out of my bed and put me in my chair, put me in my bed, onto the toilet, into the shower. The bathroom is another one of the biggest questions I get. How do you pee? How do you bathe? Really, it's just like someone under the arms, because I'm very small, right? And I really don't weigh a lot, so they can just under the arms from my chair onto the toilet. And then in our bathroom, our shower is like a bathtub. It's not like a standing shower. And we have this really cool electronic chair in the bathtub that moves up and down with like a little remote. And so just like from my chair onto the shower chair, I'm gonna get down, I scooch my little butt into the shower. We have one of those removable shower heads. I bathe, and then I go in the chair, bring it back up, and then I'm out of the shower. None of these things are as involved a process as you might think they are. One of the big ones that bugs me, just like in life, not the question, but like, can I move out? Because I do live in my family home still with my mom and all that. I'm trying. I'm on all the wait lists in the area for accessible apartments. I don't want to leave this area because I like it, honestly, and because I do work here and I like my job, and I have no reason to leave, you know? Now, I've been shown 3 apartments to date that were accessible. Notice the air quotes on accessible. So the first one they showed me was actually a brand new, recently built apartment, and the actual apartment itself was gorgeous. And then I went into the bathroom, and the bathroom was so small. There was hardly enough room for my chair in it, and my chair is a small chair, so I have no idea how someone with a bigger chair would fit in there. And the toilet was like directly in front of the shower. There wasn't enough room for my chair between the two of them, and the shower was like a single stall shower, like a, you know, in like locker rooms, how there's barely enough room for you to just stand there with these walls around you. That's what this shower was like. So I don't really understand how that works. There wasn't even enough room to roll a shower. I don't know. It was terribly designed. So that one didn't work out. And the next apartment that I was shown was perfect. It was like newly redone. It was all accessible in all the right ways. The bathroom was huge. There was a tub. It was gorgeous. The kitchen was beautiful. There was a little balcony. And then the lady, after she met me, she was like, wait, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 23. And she was like, oh, we shouldn't have shown you this one. This building is only for people 50 up. Why'd they even show me? Like, my age had to have been on the file somewhere. So that one broke my heart the most, because I got to see like an apartment that is existing, that I can't have it for like, I don't know, 30 years. And then the most recent apartment that I was shown, I knew immediately that I wasn't going to take it, because as soon as I saw the building and the area of town it was in, it was like, ooh, this is scary. It's a scary area. I went in, I saw some of the residents, and I know some of the residents from that building from around town, and they freaked me out. And then I went into the apartment, and it was just hideous, and like stupid little things in the apartment didn't make sense. Like the ovens in accessible apartments open this way, right, rather than down, and the door like opened into the doorway to get into the kitchen. So I would have had to like pull into the kitchen, pull all the way around. It was just stupid things like that that didn't make any sense. So yes, short answer, yes, it's possible for me to move out. I just have to find the right kind of accommodations so that I don't need help 5 seconds of every day all the time. Also, yes, it is possible for me to drive, but I don't, because you need like a modified van in order to drive if you are in a motorized wheelchair. You know, there's like a little ramp that comes out, you drive up, and then all the brakes and the pedals and stuff are actually little functions on the steering wheel. And there are different charities and stuff that will modify a van for you if you are physically disabled, but it has to be a brand new van, and it's up to you to get that brand new van. And there is no way in heck my family would ever be able to afford a brand new van, so it's just not even something that I ever thought of as feasible. What's the point if I'm not going to have a car? Like, why would I even get my learner's permit if I can't progress beyond that, you know? Didn't make sense. And public transit around here is pretty okay, so I just take public transit everywhere. It doesn't matter. And so yeah, those are really all the questions that I think are a little personal that I get asked all the time. As much as I really don't love answering some of those questions in person, in real life, by strangers, I understand why they're curious, and so I try not to get too mad. And now I have a video that I can refer them to from now on. Really hope you enjoyed this video and maybe found it a little bit educational in case you weren't sure how life is like when someone is disabled. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and you subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already, and I will see you next time. Bye!